We're back at it. Down, another episode.
Here we are.
We're out here with your boy Kofi, host of Audacious, and we have an amazing and special guest of TikTok himself.
I appreciate it, bro.
The man of many languages. Introduce yourself.
Is it because you don't know how to pronounce my name?
Yeah, correct.
Karaliazus. But you could just say K. You could say Carlos, like a lot of my Arab friends when they just see that name, they just go like Carlos.
Yeah, because right? when I saw it, I was gonna say Kerala. I was actually gonna say.
I mean, look, there's many ways to say it: Karaliazus, Carlos. But look, the thing is, it's a Lithuanian word, and the way they pronounce it, the IU, the I is
does it have a meaning behind it?
Yeah, it means king.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's pronounced Karaliazus. And it should be pronounced like that because in Portuguese, where a lot of my friends, my Brazilian friends are from, if you pronounce it as Karalios, it's like a very bad word. So let's keep it at Karalios. Let's keep it at king because the meaning in Brazilian Portuguese is
No, but bro, thank you so much for coming on to the podcast today. We've been trying to do this for a while since I met you. I was like, I need to get this guy on. Man of many languages himself.
I appreciate it.
A lot of people that I know, obviously you met some of my friends behind the scenes. They're like, you're the one that does this?
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get to start. So I want you to just briefly talk about what you do on TikTok, your content and how you came about it.
Yeah. So basically, I'm the guy trying to sing a song from every country in the world. As of this day, I'm on 149 countries. So I'm about to do 150. So this episode is before the big 150. And not just trying to sing from essentially the official countries in the world, but like from every territory, place as I can possibly think of. And the reason why I started this, honestly, is because I'm just a person who has always been in love with different cultures as much as my own. Right? It's not like my culture sucks and I like other people's cultures. It's like my culture is great, but imagine how many different other cultures out there that there are.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Like growing up in Dubai, which is the biggest multicultural city in the world, in my opinion, right? We have like people from 200 different countries living in Dubai. It's just always taught me like there's always many things to explore outside, and I thought like this is a chance for me to explore. I'm still young and I don't want to get myself into one niche specifically. I want to be able to explore the different cultures, and I started this in lockdown, so really the only way that I could do it, right, it was hard to get access to food, it was hard to travel to these places, so the only way that I could really process every country in the world was actually to listen to their music. So that's how I went about it.
I respect that 100%. I see the content, I'm like, damn, how the hell does this guy do how many videos do you record in about a day per se?
So
when you're like content driven,
when I'm content driven, which is almost all year, right? And there's no time where I'm not. Maybe I take 2 weeks off.
Challenge especially.
Yeah, like the only time I've taken a break in the last 9 months was when I came back to Australia after like a 6-month trip abroad, and I just took 2 weeks off of content because I needed it. I needed to not go insane because every day I'm just like listening to different languages. I'm thinking in different languages. I'm learning different words in different languages. Like I just did Haiti yesterday, and it's French Creole, so it's Haitian Creole, which is a bit like French. So there are similarities, but there's also differences, and it also opens a new way for my mind to think. And that's like one of the reasons, another reason that I did this.
It must be difficult just sitting there and being like, okay, so this is similar to this. Was that word from this one or from?
And I can't sleep at night sometimes because there's 4 different songs just like fighting to be in my head. Even today, before I came in, like I posted a story and I spent 15 minutes trying to pick a song. There was a Kenyan rap that suited the vibe. There was a Haitian rap that suited the vibe. There was a Dominican rap that suited the vibe. And there was a Japanese rap that suited the vibe. And I was just like, I wish I could post like a story. And depending on the country you're from, you just see the song from your country because I can't post like 4 different stories.
No, 100%.
So it's like my mind's always just thinking and racing, which is good, but it's also not good.
Yeah, no, because it becomes very difficult and you sit there and you're like, okay, I'm doing all this, but when do I get a break? Yeah. And I think for me personally, when it comes to content creating or doing anything creative, when you're forcing to do it and you're not enjoying doing it at the time, that's the hardest thing to do, because then you'll sit there and say, it's not right. Yeah. You'll have your errors, you'll have your trials and mistakes, and you'll be like, I can't really be bothered, to be honest. And then the content creation becomes more of a job rather than you enjoying what you're putting out.
Exactly, which is why I don't, like a lot of people ask me, is content creation a full-time thing? I would love for it to be a full-time thing someday, but right now I don't want it to be the focus. I don't want to hustle with my content, because the content that I'm doing is my way of, producing art, right? It's my way of communicating something with the rest of the world. And I want that to be as pure as it possibly is. I don't want it to be affected by making money, because if I'm thinking like, okay, what's the best way to make money? There are so many different ways for me to make money that are not necessarily good for my content.
Yeah.
So a lot of content creators who want to get into this game need to understand, are you in this for the money? Or are you in this because you love what you do? It's fine to be in it for the money, but you got to understand the difference. You don't want what you love to be something that you hate.
Yeah, for sure.
You know?
And we had this discussion earlier where we were like, with everything that you do, you don't want this to become a job. You want it to be something you enjoy. If you make money out of it, okay, so be it. Yeah. But it's not the main focus. It's not the main drive where you sit there and you're like, okay, I'm doing this because I enjoy it. Yeah. Now what's next?
Yeah. Well, look, I can tell you, I went through many periods where I was actually struggling to make money and I thought content would be the way for it. But as soon as I associated my content with, I need to make money from this video or from this idea, I even started to look at my audience in different ways. I don't want to look at my audience that likes me for singing songs in different languages as cash cows. Yeah. Like that's not the reason I'm doing this. I want to do this because I want to connect with human beings in the purest way possible. Yeah, and through music, when you sing in people's languages, I've done it like with people from 20, 25 different countries, like live. I'm not talking about on social media. And just to see the different emotions that they feel through this way of connecting, right? That is something I don't want to be tarnished by. Yeah, well, here I'm selling a t-shirt, you know, I sang a song for you, now can you buy something from me? Yeah. I don't think that's like a very pure way of looking at it.
No, for sure. You just want to be able to create it and see if the audience likes it, so be it. If not, that's up to them at the end of the day. Yeah. And you're not here to force them to like your content. You're here to make them admire it or be a part of what you're trying to create.
Exactly. And I mean, it's normal for people not to like your content or to like your content. But as I say, it's just very important, that question. Like, and I say this as a message to content creators, right? Having people like or not like your content is not a good or bad thing inherently, because that's their true opinion. But when money comes into it, it just becomes a whole different process, a whole different equation, transaction, relationship, whatever word you want to put around it.
No, for sure. What would you say right now your top 5 most difficult top 5 most difficult languages to speak has been?
Yeah, so this is a tough one because I'm going to have to remember over 104 now. But I know for sure Burmese, so from Burma, Myanmar. I tried to do a really fast rap from there, and I think like that video didn't go viral there yet, so I don't know what they think of it just yet. But I think I didn't do it really well. I just want to see what they say, but it was really hard. Haitian Creole is actually one of the harder ones because so it's like French, but they pronounce words in different ways and they write them in different ways. So they'll have like a lot of W's.
So the dialect is different.
Yeah. So, and when you put it into music, right? Some languages, by the way, they're much easier to rap than they are to speak, and some are much easier to speak than they are to rap. Yeah. Burmese, Haitian Creole. Actually, I would say for me, African languages were always mostly easy, but Shona, so from Zimbabwe, very poetic language, one that I really love, but it is very hard. There are so many Z, V, P, F that like when they come together, if you just speak English, you will not understand how to pronounce them. So, okay, we've got Burmese. Mandarin or Chinese, that's definitely one of the hardest ones. Until today, I still struggle with. That's why you see I haven't done China yet, because I'm still struggling. And then I would say this one is also a very hard one to actually rap, and it's Portuguese.
Portuguese?
Yeah, Portuguese. You'd think, okay, it's one of the European languages, must be easy.
Yeah, because a lot of people sit there and they're like, okay, this language is said a lot, so maybe it's very common.
Yeah.
And then when you try and study it.
Yeah, but Portuguese, so I learned Spanish fluently. Yeah. And then I came into Portuguese, even though I know a lot of what is being said, but trying to speak or rap Portuguese is so hard because they don't necessarily put, like, let's say the word D, the letter D, right? They don't put anything on the D to make it sound different. Like, you just have to see the letter that comes after it changes the way that it's pronounced. And if you're from a different location in Brazil, it changes the way that the word after it's pronounced. So there are so many things that you have to take into account. And I listen to many different rappers from around Brazil. So for me, it's really hard because I'm not trying to learn the Rio de Janeiro accent, for example, right? But a lot of the rappers come from there. So I'm subconsciously learning because I like that music. So it makes it a bit confusing for me. Yeah.
Oh, understandable. What would you, when it comes to your content creation, I saw that you were doing a bit of DJing there. We had a little discussion behind the scenes before. Why haven't you done that per se as much?
So because it's actually not easy doing an every country challenge, and especially doing it for 10 months straight now. So I knew what I was getting into before I did it, but I did believe sometimes that I would have time to DJ, time to make music, time to also work with clients, time to also work on my side business, time to also work on my side. But the reality is, like, you can't, right? As much, even someone like me who is really like heavy on productivity, I don't like, I can't get that.
Yeah.
So with DJing, I feel like if I ever felt like doing it, I would do it. But the reality is I'm still also trying to explore music from as many different countries as I can. The idea also behind this is by listening to as many different sounds as I possibly can, that will end up playing a big role in anything I want to do in music in the next few years. Whether it's DJing, whether it's producing, or whether it's actually rapping.
Where are you looking towards at the moment?
Well, what I enjoy the most is definitely like making different sounds onto music, right? So that could entail obviously making different sounds in terms of producing, right? But it could also entail actually rapping. Now, the reason I specifically did rapping from different countries, like most of the countries where there is rap, I will tend to do rap, is because I just love rapping in different languages. Right? The flow, like you get like a rapper from Algeria sounds nothing like a rapper from America and sounds nothing like a rapper from Brazil. But then you see like this rapper from Algeria, he was like inspired by Biggie and he's trying to still do boom bap music right now, like in 2023.
he's trying to do the old style, old school type of
Shout out to my boy Trap King, Malik al Boom Bap.
Vibes.
You know?
Music.
Yeah, 100%. But he's like, you see, for me, it's like, you know, if you tell someone you listen to boom bap in 2023, you're gonna be like, you know, it's old school. But like, because I'm listening to it in a different language, right? I don't have that thing where it's like it's old school. For me, it's like something completely new, completely different. So yeah, I would love to like create music where I'm just literally rapping in 7 different languages over a beat. Like,
I respect that so much, because sitting there and I definitely don't even think I can learn 3. I'm being dead serious. But I respect what you're doing when it comes to you being able to sit there and say, oh, okay, this is my goal. I'm going to achieve it regardless of what it does for me. And then I'm going to get it done. Like you've got what, 40?
So 43 countries
43
left.
countries left. And you're sitting there saying, I'm going to get it done by this date. You've gone ahead and posted it. What are you trying to get done by July?
So 4th of July, I've booked my holiday to the Gold Coast on the 4th of July. And 4th of July is also America's Independence Day, so America was always going to be the last country. That was the plan from the beginning. America was supposed to be the last one. I didn't know it would end on July the 4th, but here we are. It could possibly end on July the 4th, which literally makes it perfect. And I think Canada, which I still have left, is July the 1st. So like I'm
So what's the last country you're looking at?
Last country is the United States.
United States. Okay. So you're gonna finish off with a big bang.
Yeah, with a big bang, because that's where, like, in the end, all the inspiration from music has 99% come to the US. Yes, right now we've got the UK coming to play. We've got a lot of Canadian artists, even Australian. Shout out to all the Australian artists. But like US, right? Everything from there. You know, the first thing we grew up with: West Coast, East Coast, Tupac, Biggie. That's like really all the stuff that we heard. And then from the pop side of things too, everything came from America. So it'll be interesting to see, because for America, I literally could pick from 1,000 different songs.
Sure.
And that's one of the most interesting parts of a challenge like this, why I do this, right? Like from a philosophical point of view, let's say. It's like I could pick any choice out of 500 songs I know, and any one of them could get me to like 10 million views, let's say. But knowing which one to pick out of 500 is so hard. It's going to be arbitrary at this point, right?
Because at the end of the day, with music, it's very biased. It just depends on what you like.
Yeah, so it could literally be anything. And so that's when it comes to like different countries where I go like, okay, so I've been recommended 15 songs from a different country. Which one do I pick, right? Like, okay, 2 is a bad, like it's hard to make a decision between 2 or 3 things. Now imagine 15 things. So sometimes I just have to go with the flow. Sometimes I just have to pick, like sometimes I'll be stuck and I'm like, okay, what country do I just randomly pick? Because in the end, right, we don't know what's going to happen. The beautiful thing about this is I got to explore different regions of the world at times where I didn't even pick it, right? So at some point, the Horn of Africa, East Africa, that was a time where I was able to explore that music. It just came on its own. And right now I'm in a period of exploring Caribbean music, and it just happened, right? I'm going through from Trinidad and Tobago, Dominica, Dominican Republic, Anguilla, all these different countries, all these different islands in the Caribbean. I'm going through that right now, and I never planned that. That's the beautiful thing about, like, okay, I know what the end goal is, but how I can get to the end goal is so different. There's so many ways I can do it, right? And
when did you start making content?
Oh, when did I start making content?
How long have you been making content for?
Like content, I would say 10 years now. It's 2023. Yeah. So from early days of Twitter, right? I saw Twitter. I was like, you know what? I watch a lot of football. Let me write about it. Let me write my thoughts. You know, okay. And the way it started for me was like my team Liverpool was just doing really bad. So I was like, okay, I play FIFA, I know the formation. Okay, so what formation are we playing with, and why is that formation so bad? Because we were doing bad for like 10 years, we didn't win the league. So I was like, okay, what's the wrong formation? Then I realized, okay, no, there's like people seeing this as a science. So I went into it. I started writing articles. I started going to games at my local league, celebrating with fans.
So
and
just
everything.
starting to understand soccer a bit more.
Yeah. And through that, I actually got exposed to kind of the entertainment and media side of things. So I was a very like nerdy kind of football article writer. Like I'd write articles and shit, right? And then at some point I went to a game in England and I realized like, I love just being with the fans. I love just like being with a group of people, whether it's musically, whether it's in a sporting sense. Like I just always, when you ask me like, what's my dream scenario? It's like I'm in the middle of 50,000 people and we're just cheering for something. Like whether it's like, you know, Travis Scott just put Goosebumps on and we're all like, you know,
so you rather be in that vibey atmosphere.
Or for example, like, you know, from out of nowhere, a team that is not expected to win scores a goal from out of nowhere. And it's just like that feeling of euphoria, that like 10 seconds, that is what I live for, right? Not the 10 seconds after, not the 10 seconds, like that 10 seconds of euphoria. That perfect moment.
That perfect moment where everyone is in sync. The vibes are the same. There's no negative energy around you.
And that match, I went to Liverpool versus Arsenal. We were doing really badly. We were losing 2-1 at our home stadium. And at the last second of the game, and I was recording it, I remember 2014, last second of the game, we score. And that game didn't really mean anything to us because we were already doing badly. But just that 10 seconds of euphoria, it's like a drug, right? It just hooked me like a drug. And I was like, I need more of this shit. I need more of this shit.
Nah, I respect that. Damn, I never saw it from that because I saw that you were focusing on the World Cup at one stage. You're doing the countries that were in the World Cup. Did you end up going to watch it, or you were in Australia at the time?
No, I worked at the World Cup. I was the face of FIFA Plus in Arabic at the World Cup.
For real?
Yeah.
I never knew that because I saw that you were going around interviewing, but I didn't know where you were in the scene.
Yeah, fair enough. So my videos were all on their main accounts, and that's actually see my bad is that I don't even post a lot of the stuff that I do. Right? Like I literally like just posted a story. I'd be like, it's just another content. Like I do so many videos that I have like a whole content presentation I did for 45 minutes like 2 weeks ago. I haven't even sat down and processed it because like, man, sometimes I'm just working with too much content that I don't want to edit. I don't like, you know what I mean? For me, it's like, all right, I love this, but I don't love this. It's like someone who works as a chef, right? You don't. They're not gonna come home and like, oh, I love cooking. They're gonna want to order something because they've been cooking all day. Constantly. You know what I mean? So that's how it works.
So how did you get involved? Because a lot of people out there, they want a lot of the teens that the audience of Audacious, they're more youth and they want to do content creation. How did you get into the atmosphere of okay, I'm doing content creation, but how do I take it a step further? Like you said, you went to FIFA, and from there you became the face. How did you take a step into that?
Well, glasses have come off for this because now we're getting to serious.
It's serious. Okay.
So every one of these big opportunities that I've got in my life. So going to an event like the World Cup. I also did this like crypto event in Dubai. Imagine like 6 days before the event, they check out my Instagram. They're like,
how many times have you been to Dubai? Because you said that possibly end of July you're gonna go again.
So I'm born and bred in Dubai.
Okay.
Right. So I have family from Australia. There's a family in Dubai, and so it's basically always been kind of like my second home. Even first home at times, but recently Australia's become the first home. And so sorry.
No, sorry.
I was going through nostalgia with Dubai, man.
He's just thinking, I want to go back on holiday. I'm not trying to be here for long.
Sorry, so can we go back to the question?
Dubai. How many times have you been to Dubai? You said you were born and bred in there.
So born and bred in Dubai. Yeah, that's why I lost track because like I don't really have a number, but like since I've moved to Australia and started to study here, I've probably been back like 6 times. And so it's like I'll always find myself every year, like besides that one lockdown year, every year I'll just find myself back there. It's like an energy that always levitates me towards there no matter what. So No,
I respect that. Have you traveled with anyone else? So I've been to Dubai.
So I've traveled to a few places in Europe. So we're talking England, Italy, Greece, Turkey, Croatia. I've been obviously all around the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, Bahrain, Oman, Qatar, United Arab Emirates, Lebanon. I haven't been to as many countries though that I would have liked.
Okay, where are you planning to visit next? Because you said you're going to go back home, back to Dubai. Where are you thinking of going next? So one of the bad things about being in Australia and doing a challenge like this is that to get to anywhere
it is minimum $1,500.
Yeah, it's
right?
expensive. Australia's not cheap for travel.
Yeah, so Dubai, on the other hand, it is probably one of the best places to be if you want to travel, because you're literally in the center of the world and you can travel almost anywhere. Like most countries in the world, I assume, like I forgot the number, but Dubai and Qatar, basically, they have the most destinations in the world.
How long have you been in Australia for?
6 years now. Yeah. So, for instance, like being in Dubai, let's say I went viral in Georgia, right?
Yeah.
Georgia is just a 3-hour flight away from Dubai. It's plausible to spend, I would say it's like 500 Australian dollars to go there. Like it's an investment, right? 500 Australian dollars, go there for a week, come back, right?
Yeah.
That's an investment. But like for right now, my biggest fan base is from Kenya, Nairobi, Kenya. So for me to travel to Nairobi, it's probably 36 hours of flying, right? And a round trip costs $3,000. And it's
Would you do a meet and greet in...
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but for me, not just a meet and greet. Like I would do a night, like it's just the Karaliazus night. You know what I mean? Which is something I want to do here in Melbourne too. You know,
I'm waiting for that. I'm waiting for that.
But
Audacious doing interviews there soon. Don't worry.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
But I want to do a Karaliazus night. Essentially, it's where I bring the music that I listen to and I bring it for the people, but I also bring it with my kind of touch.
Yeah, for sure.
Because you see, there's things that. All right, I'm doing a pre-recorded video, right? Where I have to sit down and sing the song as best as I can. But I want to be able to get on the mic and like freestyle with the song a little bit, you know, and just like
just have fun.
So essentially, this is kind of like trying to unlock that potential. Like, when will I get that time where I'll be commanding the stage, right, doing what I do? But as a content creator who sings from different countries, people don't look at you that way. People don't look at you necessarily as a performer. They see it as you're just doing a challenge. But for me, it's like, nah, I love performing. Like it is a dream to perform. And so I like, sometimes if I can just for free, I'll perform for free. I'll do my work, like I get paid for the work, but I'll just perform for free because I love that. I don't want, again, money to be associated with what I love.
You reckon you'll perform in Melbourne soon?
That is, look, so it all depends on my travel. The reason why I believe I've never performed, so I have performed like a couple of times at like small gigs, but the reason why I've never truly performed here is because, as I said, every time my focus is kind of on the business side of things right now. Yeah. So it's outside. So again, it's like if I get a job offer to go there for 6 months and I'm getting paid well, or I can kind of push performing for free, I'm obviously going to go there. And there I was able to, so like in the Middle East, I was able to actually leverage that knowledge I have to actually perform. But here, for instance, I just sit down and think, like, if I'm traveling to Dubai in 2 months, right, it just doesn't make sense really to kind of push into performing. I definitely will try, but it's like, people don't want also someone who's traveling back and forth.
Yeah, they want someone that's centered and situated.
Especially like, look, this is something that I've struggled here with in Australia. Like, no matter what experience I have, I will not get a job like doing, like, let's say, a long-term social media full-time role. Yeah. And the reason is because I always say, well, you've worked at the World Cup, you've worked at the Dakar Rally, you've worked at the Asian Cup. Like, why would you work for my business? Like I know that if you get an offer, you're gonna go. And I'm just like, I mean, if the 2026 World Cup comes and they offer me a job, I'm not gonna say no. I'm not gonna say no. I mean, I love this city, but like at the same time, I love this city for reasons away from work, right? And right now, I'm kind of like, I'm still young, so I want that energy to be spent on travel.
Yeah, for sure.
But Australia is like always gonna be home for me. I love this place, so yeah.
How long you said you were in Australia again?
Yeah, 6 years.
6 years, okay. So not too long.
Yeah, not too long, but funny enough, lockdown made me love it. For a lot of people, it made them hate it, but for me, it just realized there's Australia was this is gonna be controversial. I don't know what to say. Okay, so it was a bad place to be due to the length of the lockdown. Yeah. But in terms of qualities of a city during lockdown, like the nature that you had, the kind of like lackluster, like no one really cared. Like no one was checking you for 5 kilometers. Like in other places, like they're very strict. Like in Dubai, there was a rule where if you go and drive onto the street, right, you're gonna get caught for a fine. The camera's gonna flash you, and then you have to appeal. So for whatever, let's say, so my friend's dad is a dentist, right? So he obviously had to go to work, and so basically his dad would get a fine every single day, right? And he had to appeal it every single day. So it's like,
so it was that strict.
Yeah, so it's like here, you never really had the cops being like, oh, where's your ID? Let me, put it on Google Maps to kind of search and see if it's within the 5 kilometer radius. So as a city, like it's the best. You have the botanical garden.
I didn't think it was that bad because there was, how the news makes everything broad. They're like, oh, Melbourne is the worst. That was before Sydney had their lockdown. Melbourne is like this. I didn't know Dubai was that bad.
So for them, so that's the thing. They had like a sort of strict lockdown, but like 3 months. You know what I mean? So that's the issue with the Melbourne lockdown, was the length, right? No lockdown. Like you could have a lockdown in Paris, in the Eiffel Tower, and it's gonna get boring after 1.5 years. You know what I mean? But like as a city, right? Like Melbourne is a very I don't want to say it's, because that would again touch a lot of people, so even me. But like Melbourne is one of the better places to kind of be locked down, because it's just like chill. You know?
Understandable.
It's just
Yeah,
a chill
no,
city.
for sure.
You know, if you go to like Paris and you see a lockdown, it's like, but Paris is known for being the bustling city that it is, and known for the tourism. You know, it's different. New York, for example, Times Square. Imagine there's no one there. That's gonna be kind of creepy. But Melbourne's always like mellow and chill.
Yeah, it's always calm vibes regardless of what you do.
Besides like Mumbai, right? It's never really like that packed where you can't breathe, or New Year's Eve. Right?
Yeah, New Year's Eve.
You know what I mean? It's
no
when
one's
you can't
moving
breathe.
the city.
You know what I mean? But otherwise, Melbourne's always chill. Like today's a Thursday night. It's cold, but you'll see enough people out.
Yeah,
but not too much.
It's not too busy where you have to push past people. The streets are
and like now people will go out. It's like date night. Thursday night's a date night. It's cold. You go find a place that has good heaters and have a nice steak and wine.
What are your plans for tonight?
I've got a football match tonight. I'm going to be playing in the cold.
Oh, you're playing?
Yeah, I'm playing.
Okay.
But in a bit of a social league. So I'm playing tonight, and it is 7 degrees, and I do get really cold.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I've
got my turtleneck on.
So playing in Dubai, we never played with, like, we don't play in the cold. You know what I mean? We play in the humidity. So which is nice, because if you're sweating and it's humid, okay, it's fine. But here you're sweating and it's cold, so you don't know what to feel, and my jaws get really So that's the only thing about this place, is the cold gets a bit too cold. And I'm someone who likes to get out of their comfort zone, so I'll like sometimes go out in a t-shirt or something, or not wear gloves or whatever. But like, just the cold is too cold. Like it just doesn't work with me.
No, for sure. Damn, I respect that. And also with one of your things, we had discussion before with the Ghanaian song that you did. I think we're gonna have to get Tree version.
Yeah. You're telling me about that. So definitely, see, that's one of the things about this Every Country Challenge, which makes it so much harder. And trust me, I've actually searched like how many languages there are in the world, because I'll give you an example. I did Belize a couple of days ago. I did the language of Garifuna, but they've obviously got Creole. Some people speak Spanish. They speak a variety of different languages.
Because you've already done Creole.
Some people speak Mayan. So it's very hard to get every single language. And then it's very hard to do this challenge. And then like, Papua New Guinea has like 872 different languages, like the most languages in the world. And I'm not going to do 872 videos for Papua New Guinea. It's just too hard. You know what I mean? But definitely, if a country, like if people say, well, this is not our main language that is spoken, like that you could still do one that we all kind of associate with, then I will be like, because you guys kind of make the rules, right? It's like, I don't know if these videos are good or not.
No, for sure. Until you've released it and then the feedback comes back.
Yeah, so like I posted Suriname yesterday also, and I thought that was gonna be like, I don't know, I didn't think I did so well, and then it ended up doing better than videos that I thought would do really well. So it's just, it surprises you, and that's the way it is. But with the Ghanaian music, definitely I need to get onto Tree. I mean, I've always loved like the Ghanaian high life music, also some Ghanaian rap, and it is one of the places that I would definitely. So we're again going back to one of the reasons. So there's a lot of like multi-layered reasons for doing this challenge, but like I want to kind of see which countries that I know like their music, like whatever song you give me from that country, I would listen to. So the one example is when I used to do Spanish content, Dominican Republic. You give me merengue, bachata, dembow, reggaeton, I will like Dominican music. That's just the way it is. So Ghana is one of those places, but obviously I try not to make the kind of music database in my head too big, right? I can't, like, if I have 20 songs from each country, that's without all the songs I already know in my life, right? My head's gonna burst, bro.
For sure. No,
there's only so much I believe that my brain can handle.
100%.
So Ghana is definitely one that I will go into like exploring more. And I mean, it just touches upon like one of the issues again that I face with this challenge is that there's so much demand, which is great, right? It's great to always have that demand. But there's only so much that someone can do as a single human being. I work on this project completely on my own. No editors, no videographers, no one posting, no one doing the captions, nothing. I do every single thing on my own.
Yeah, it's difficult.
So I definitely believe. Now, look, had I had a team, and I just literally focus on doing the music, a different ball game completely. But that is just part of the struggle as content creators that we have to face. And I think there's a lot that we can talk about when it comes to being a content creator and doing that stuff.
No, I completely agree. Let's touch up on that actually a little bit. Because even with Audacious, me starting, like I do have my co-host, but he's busy with other things and he's able to provide me here and there. But when it comes to being a content creator, you have to make that hard decision of, okay, look, I need to understand that I'm one human being. I don't have a whole team. I don't have a lot of people beside me. Like, I have the support, but they're not going to do it for me. At the end of the day, you sit there and you say, okay, this and this. But that's what your audience also has to realize. Because with the content that you make, it's amazing. The quality of every video is like to critique. It's very, very straightforward and very well done. And I can't lie, like even me sitting there, I'm like, so what editing software? How does he do that? Like what, like, you know, as creators, you sit there and you gain inspiration from other people. But what do you think besides that? Like when your audience sits down and they say this and this and you're like, okay, but this is how much effort went into it. Some people don't see it though.
Yeah. So what would you say is the question out of that? Because like I get like the whole thing around it, but like what would you say is the question?
The question besides that I'd say is what do you reckon the hardest part of being a content creator is? Or when you're starting specifically? Yeah.
Well, I'm going to give what is the hardest thing to be a content creator in general and then one for myself. So the one for myself is pretty simple. It's because I literally expose myself to as many different things as I can. I just want to do content on everything. Like the fact that I'm not doing football content right now, it hurts me, right? It hurts because I know I can do well with it. I know that even it could make me more money than this. I know that it can get me to places that I want to be more than this, right? But I also understand that, I took a decision and I've got to, accept it and respect that decision. Because you got to respect your own decisions too. But in general, what's the hardest thing as a content creator? I would say, look, the money part, everyone struggles, right? It's not just a content creator thing, but I would say the hardest thing as a content creator is possibly loneliness as a content creator, right? Because you can, okay, let me put this into perspective. It's a Friday night, you want to go out, but you know that you need to grind. You need to keep hustling, keep posting videos, keep getting better at videos. And as a content creator, it's one of those things where you feel so autonomous and independent. So you're like, you know what? I'm going to take matters into my own hands. I won't go out this weekend, right? I won't go out next weekend. I won't go out at all. And then you realize, okay, I'm working so hard every single day and I'm only communicating with people online and I may not even have followers. Like I'm saying, if you do have followers. And then that becomes a point where it's like you're trying to sacrifice between like, okay, do I do my content with like, okay, with these people in this time zone that suits me, or do I go out with people here? And I see a lot of people who they succeed as content creators, but you know when you see people who've succeeded and then they just randomly like they kind of dive off and it's like what's happened to them? A lot of them, those who I've spoken to personally and those who haven't, like who've said it on their own, it's loneliness. Like they feel just so isolated. And I still think that the world of being a content creator still has a lot. Like 10 years from now, we'll be looking like, wow, this is still a new world. Because it's not just about money. Again, everyone thinks, the first thing to make creator economy good is money, right? As long as people are making money. But let me put it this way. I believe, right, there are more people who are happier without money, but with people around them than people who have money but don't have people around them.
And that's where the saying of money isn't happiness.
So you're from Ghana, right?
Correct.
So you obviously know about familial ties. So from the Middle East, we know about familial ties, right? How many people do we know? They never had money. They don't even spend money on their own, but they are literally happy because they're with people they love. They're surrounded by their family.
And they're able to come up with things that bring them joy that don't entitle money.
All the grandmas, the aunties, the uncles, they don't do anything in their life. Retired, 45, retired. I'm just happy to be here with my family. What do? They just sit down, they make comments. That's all they do.
They gossip, they talk.
The uncles, they gossip, right? But they're happy. It's like, because I'm around my family. But then you have lots of people who they have so much money and they're just like, well, if there's no, okay, I've made this money. But I can't even, like, if I have to, for a girl to love me, I have to have money. For a guy to be my friend, I have to have money. I have to get him in the club. I have to do this, right? You start to feel like you're not human anymore. So like that is so important that we talk about also in the world of being a content creator. It's like, because yes, man, it's all about digital world. It's all about producing that content. But it's also about doing things like this. Like, okay, you know me through social media. I know you through social media. But
I can't lie, I felt so honored when I met him and he's like, he's the guy that does the part. I said, I said, wow.
Bro, man, like 100%, of course, I've been seeing your stuff. Like, I pay attention to these things because creators in
I appreciate
Melbourne,
it. It means a lot. Like, even just starting and having someone, even though you don't see it as big as yourself, sit there and say, aren't you the...
bro. Because look, creators in Melbourne, Australia specifically, like, okay, yeah, we talk about community, right? Number one thing, so I did this kind of, so it was actually before we followed each other, so you wouldn't have seen it, but I did this thing where I was like, hey guys, people in Melbourne, sign up and let's have a meetup, right? In Docklands, we had a meetup, 10 different people. We all just talked about like what it's like to be a content creator. I learned different things from people who
I think we're going to have to do another one. We'll make it like a panel.
Yeah, 100%.
I reckon we'll get it done.
That's exactly what I want to do next, right? Is to actually bring it a bit more, but not a networking event. I hate networking events. Just not networking.
No, like just make it have fun.
Yeah, just like, it could be like, we have a DJ there, like it's just chill, you know what I mean? So that's like in Melbourne, we need to be shifting our focus to content creation, because content creation can bring a lot of opportunities to a lot of people. We're all complaining about, AI coming in, or, people who are more skilled than me, they're coming in and taking my job. Okay, well, content creation allows you to solve any problem that you want. Any single problem that you want. Dude, there's people doing content that if you said it out loud to another human being, they'll be like, and you'll be like, this person's a millionaire, or this person has 2 million people following. They'll be like, you're crazy. But these people are just satisfying a need, right? It's like some people like to listen to a person with a soothing voice. Do a vlog, right? Oh, like I went to the mall, I went here, I went back. People love ASMR, right? There's a reason why people love ASMR. People love different things. And so it's, what problem can you solve? Content allows you to solve that problem.
It does.
For me, it's like away from all the opportunities. It's allowed me to see that there's so many different ways that we can operate in this world, where one, we are doing the thing that we love the most, but also understanding that there are things that we have as skills that we can monetize. So we monetize the skills, but we work on our passion the most. And I don't mean work in the sense of like the actual meaning of work, but I just mean as in we focus on it.
Yeah, no, for sure. I get what you mean, like putting in the effort to get what you have to say out there.
Yeah, because also there's that fine line. There's this huge challenge, I believe, for content creators, is there's a fine line between the money and the passion that we need to just pay attention to. I catch myself slipping a lot of times. Like right now, I realize, okay, I want it to be done by July the 4th, right? But I don't want to pressure myself into a scenario where I'm not liking it anymore. So anytime I see myself not liking the content, I'm like, I know I got a goal there, but I don't mind. Like, I don't mind having to delay my goal by a week, because when you put it into perspective, right? Look at it 5 years from now, right? You could say, oh, I reached my arbitrary goal of July the 4th because I booked for my vacation. But that probably won't have a big effect on the rest of my life. But if I looked as I really pressured myself, made myself hate every single fiber of the content that I was doing just to finish on July the 4th, and then I hate content for the rest of my life.
Yeah, no, that's
would I have benefited from that?
No, because then at the end of the day, that's where you stop your hobby or your enjoyment and what you do for fun, per se.
So exactly. So that's like there's a red line for me. It's like I will grind, I will hustle, but as soon as I feel like it's going to make me hate what I'm doing, I don't want to do it, because I've fallen out of love with things. Like you asked me before what I did at the beginning of content. What I did was I was working in football, and the reason I left football was because it was no longer fun for me. Every single game I watched was not for fun. It was to analyze. And like, man, sometimes I just want to watch Ronaldo or Messi do their thing. And like, I'm trying to analyze, and Messi dribbles the ball diagonally so that he can. And I just ended up hating it. And now, recently,
I think I understand when it comes to that one. With a quick notion, it's like, I was in high school and I used to play soccer. Not long ago I graduated. When I was in that setting, and then you have your friends talking about, oh, in soccer they did this and this. I'm like, look, I understand that, but it doesn't make you enjoy it. Like, it's like you and I sitting down and you're saying, okay, Liverpool's better than Chelsea. Very controversial. I'm not saying that's the case. I'm not saying that's the case. But it's like when you sit there and you have those little banters. That's the enjoyment of soccer, or the enjoyment of any sport. But for you to sit there and say, okay, the formation is this and this and this, you're like, no.
I mean, I actually came across this post recently, which is footballers who hate football. And there's literally, like, I think, was it Martinelli from Arsenal? I remember it was Ter Stegen from Barcelona also. They're like, one of them was like, I mean, I come home after I play the game and I just chill out. Like, am I gonna watch football? Like people, people assume that this guy's been training for football all week, playing 2 games a week, 4 hours
gonna go
of
watch
playing,
again,
and he's gonna go back home, not spend time with his family, not go spend that money that he has, but to watch another football game and be in an armchair and be like, with his beer, just watching the game. Ronaldo doesn't know what he's doing. Like,
I think
for a lot of them, it's just a job. I remember there's this player, Benoit Suikoto. He's just like, no, this is just a job for me. I'm in it for the money. Like, and I remember people were like, this guy's like, how is, like, he's a mercenary, he's playing. No, bro, he's literally saying what it is. You know, if I'm playing to the best of my abilities, all right. Now, the thing is, football is one of those things that we have, like, oh, it's a passion, it's art. You know, we can't associate it with, like, I just want to make money.
Yeah, for sure.
But, like, if you were a good player, if you're a good basketballer and you could make money from it, you would do it.
Yeah,
you would do it. Yeah, you don't have the same passion. I would still say that on average, right, if you have two excellent players, one who's passionate, one who's not, I would say on average, the passionate one, you know, is the one who gets better in the end or who has the most. But still, it doesn't mean that you can't play in the like, you can't play basketball at all, for example. Maybe not in the NBA, but you could play probably in some European leagues. For sure. So, yeah.
Oh, damn. I never thought of it like that, because even me just starting this content creation, starting this podcast with my co-host, just sitting there and analyzing these things, I don't really think of it like that. I don't really say, okay, da 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 da. I really just went into it because I was like, me and my co-host love giving advice to people. We love hearing and giving back feedback. Like you said, with the content creation, you sit there and I'm intaking the knowledge that you give me. And I'm like, okay, I'll give it to the audience out there or the people that listen. When that happens, and I'm like, okay, I've learned something. And with every episode, I'm trying to get people on that will teach me something. That will sit there and humble me and be like, okay, this is the case and this is what you do. And I think that's what content creation is. 100%. It's you being able to understand something and do it because you enjoy it, not because 100%. You're going to make funds from it. No.
And what you just mentioned shows me, honestly, your maturity in this space as a content creator, because I think the number one thing for a content creator to succeed is to understand that, yes, it's about you. You're the one creating the content, but there's people who are going to watch your content. Those people need to feel something. So there is autonomy and independence in content, but you also need to understand that there is something bigger than yourself. And when you're saying that, you know, I want people to teach me something, and thus also people who are watching, let's get taught something, that is just a really mature and progressive way to understand content. And it's really important that we all understand that. And that's, so I'm kind of starting like this side gig right now that I haven't told people. It's like a kind of stealth release, which is I just talk for 5 minutes, no plan, nothing. And I just talk about something I've learned from the world from social media. When you look at YouTube and you go and you see any content on social media, most of it is how to get to 100K followers on Instagram so quickly, how to get the most likes. And all these people, they'll even do some content that is good, but their highest viewed videos are how to get likes on TikTok, how to get followers in one day, and I'm just trying to get people to understand, like, it's not about followers, because you could have 3,000 followers and have more of an impact than me with 800,000 followers.
That's what I'm starting to understand. For me, it's a bit different compared to TikTok. With a podcast, you have all different social medias. Do you do YouTube as well? Or
so my relationship with YouTube has been on and off. I was full-time at some point, and I loved it, but then I moved into TikTok because it was kind of easier for me to do the every country challenge there. I tried to do it on YouTube, but no one's going to watch 195 3-minute videos, right? That's a lot. Excuse me?
That's all right.
But a lot of people would, you know, scroll through 195.
And then that's what I'm saying. When it comes to YouTube, it's hard to find, because nowadays, I don't think a lot of people subscribe. That subscribe button isn't used very often. You know, you watch a video, you move on, you maybe like it, and that's it. And that's where I think I'm starting to understand it on YouTube, where if I have 10 subscribers, but I have 100 views, I'm like, okay, why is it not matching up? But now I'm starting to slowly, even when people ask me, they're like, oh, why is it like this? I'm like, I don't mind. If I'm even out of, let's say, I think the most amount of views we've had, including Spotify and etc., was 500, 5 to 600. If I'm able to just impact one of that 600, I'm happy. I'll smile and I'll be like, okay, I made that person day.
Like 600 people is a lot. That's a lot of people. Like, imagine you're now, like, as I told you, I did a presentation last week. There were 30 people. That's a lot of people. But you don't see them when you're doing the content. Like, you could have a live stream and you could see it says 22 people, and it's like 22 people, but it's like 22 people are actually down to see you.
Imagine if this room was filled with 22 people.
Exactly.
That's still a lot.
That's a lot of people, right? And then, so imagine that, you know, you get like crazy views, like I'm talking millions, right? It's very, and I'm telling you, like, one of the weaknesses of that is like, okay, now that I get millions of views, sometimes the video gets 20K, I'm just like, you know what I mean? Like, subconsciously, that's what you think, because your mind already, like, the dopamine is now at higher levels. Like, now for me,
you're like, that 3 mil.
No, now I have to hit 7.5.
7.5, that's your goal.
Like, to be like, you know, okay, that's crazy, because I think the top I've hit was 5 million, you know? So, but in the end, you know, views, I'm going to be very honest. Like, I want to hit that amount of views Simply for the dopamine hit. No, because the dopamine hit is good, but like otherwise the views don't.
They don't really do much.
Like
it's just
just a number, right? Like it's just as I said, it's just a bit of like an ego dopamine boost. It's like, oh, cool, right? Like my video from Kenya had 5 million people see it, so I think Kenya has 45 million people. So when you talk about like 5 million out of 45 million people seeing it just on social media, like that's a lot of people, right? You have some countries where the population is like 20,000 and like the video has 100k views, and then I'll go on like the analytics and it'll be like 20% are from this country, and it's literally, if I calculate it, the whole population of that country, the whole people on that island have seen my video. And that got me to think, like, by the end of this challenge, I could go to any country in the world and there will be at least one person who knows me.
There you go.
That's like such an interesting, like anywhere. Like I'm just like this, which is why, I really want to like build into this. As much as I love football, right? I was like, okay, but football, like I had this kind of limited thing that I could do. But like just being able to be around the world, it's not just about music, because after this I could go into food. Like I love food from different countries. I could go into football from different countries. I could go to basketball from different countries.
I can't lie, I'd want to see you cook from every country. That'd be interesting.
It would be more like a satirical comedy type thing, like where people laugh at me trying to cook. Trust me. No, I'm not the right person, because look, this happened once. So I was doing it with the Dominican culture, Dominican Republic, and they put a lot of plantains in their food.
Yeah.
And, plantains.
Yeah, you're telling me before.
Yeah, I love plantains, right? So I tried to do a plantain lasagna, right? Which would have been amazing, because when you look at the videos of them making plantain lasagna, it's the best. And when you combine the flavors in your head, it's amazing, right? But it was so soggy and watery that it ended up becoming like a plantain lasagna soup. And I live streamed that to 2,000 Dominican people, and literally posted the video, and all the comments were like people laughing, but like in a friendly
in a good way, in a good way.
But like I actually butchered it, you know what I mean? So imagine like I go from this challenge where I sing a song from every country in the world well, but then the next challenge is I butcher a food from every country.
Oh,
it's
well,
like, I gotta humble myself a bit. Not everything has to be good.
Exactly.
Let me show
and then that's where you have, but that's where you have that balance.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, okay, I did everything like not perfect, but I did it well.
Yeah.
And now let's switch it up and see what people think.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I could do food, I could do whatever, but the beauty about this is, as much as I have plans, I know that there's something that will take me. Like, dude, I just got the 2010 FIFA World Cup game and PS3 like back this week. Like PS3, I'm going back old school.
I saw.
And I was like, I just started like recording myself, and I'm like, you know what? This game has every country in the world. Like, imagine, bro. So I know, okay, because Ghana qualified for this World Cup, and Ghana is actually a good national team, right?
Yeah. See, look, I need to put it out there. Nigeria, we have beef with you. Because to be fair, at least we made it into the World Cup this year.
I'm not getting involved. I'm not getting involved. I got involved into one jollof rice war in Qatar. In Qatar, when there was Nigerian and Ghanaian fan, I just got involved into one, and I was like, you know what? I'm not.
What'd you say? I want to hear the story.
So no, it was like we're gonna ask you a question. Got a Nigerian fan, and Nigerian fan says Niger jollof. Just literally before we ask the question, he goes like Niger jollof. And we just all start laughing, and it was, it's pretty nice. Like when you just that like there's like these little rivalries between countries, but like it's actually just all fun and jokes. Like one of my favorite content creators are the two guys, like one from Nigeria and one from Ghana, and they just do they say things in their accents, and it's just like that's kind of the thing that I like to do. It's like, how can we bring our differences and actually laugh about them together? How can we just like understand, like, oh yeah, like we actually have similar music. Oh, we actually have similar tastes. Wow, hey, you guys eat okra, we eat okra too. Oh,
that's what we were talking about before.
It's like there's so many things that you just take, and then like even from music, like you'll know a lot about food from music, because people are like sometimes people, to represent their culture, they'll talk about like food and stuff. So this just gives me that opportunity to really explore anything I want. And so going back to the game, because we went with like Ghana and Nigeria. But so the Kenyan national team never qualified for the World Cup, but they're on the game, right? You've got Anguilla, which is not even a recognized UN country. It has a population of like 20,000, if I'm not mistaken. They have the national team on the game. So I'm just like, damn, this game is like me, but football, And so I'm gonna do some
what I'm
content.
doing right now.
I'll do something where like I'll take Kenya to the World Cup on the hardest difficulty and try to get them to qualify. It's like, it's not real life, but it'd be pretty cool if their favorite creator or one of their creators that they like is doing that. And that's like how I would kind of go into YouTube. Damn. But there's so much to do, man. Like I like to call myself a contentpreneur, right? You know how like we've got a lot of our friends who they're entrepreneurs, like they will, okay, hey man, I just started a shoe label, I'm doing 3 club nights, I'm also doing this kind of phone repairs thing. For me, it's like, oh yeah, so I do some kind of social media coaching here, I sing a song from every country there, I go and I visit football stadiums here. That's for me, like I'm a contentpreneur, you know.
I'm trying to be on that.
I know what you, I know, bro. So
I'm trying to be on that.
And it's fun because you get to choose. As long as you know how to keep a crowd entertained, as long as you know how to, you know, manage emotions of the person that is watching, right? Like I know for me, one of the things I believe that I mastered, I think that I mastered is the way I do the entry. Like I get the music to come in slightly to get people like, okay, which I love
how we're gonna wrap up soon, but I love how in every single one in your TikTok, it's like boom, like you've gone zoom straight into the country, and then it brings you in.
Yeah, and so I try to get the highest impact. Right? Like I try to focus, even like if there's some parts that's on, the reality is with content, you have to focus on what works for the audience too. You know, you can't like do a boring one. Now, but some countries, obviously their songs are just slow paced or it's more folk. So obviously I can't choose, like if a country has 10,000 people, they don't have rap. You know, rap is a very niche thing. You need to have a big, but then some countries that have like 1 million people, but rap is a huge thing there. So, that's really,
I've learned a lot. I was even talking to you before, and I was just like, "Damn, this guy has so much knowledge."
I appreciate
that's,
it.
That's what I want, and that's what I think I want Audacious to do. Because when I started it, it was to help people just to understand themselves. But now I think it's just to be able to put knowledge out there. To be able to take the risky moves and like meet new people and sit there and say, "Okay, we're gonna change. We're gonna be different." The meaning of Audacious behind it all is to do something risky, to take a step forward without understanding. And that's what I feel like content creation is. It's you taking a leap of faith.
It is. And that's what I really like about the name, because I just want to say, like, it is so easy for me now to post 3 videos a day. But when I started this, I was scared. And when I started this, I told people close to me, like, I'm going to do this challenge. And they're like, what's this challenge going to do for you? It's not going to get you anything. Like, what are you going to do about it? But trying to do things that are audacious is, especially in the content space, is really important. And that's an aspect of content that no one will talk about. You know, they'll talk about how it helps you make money. They'll talk about how it gets you opportunities. They'll talk about how it helps you, you know, get to places that you want to be. But it actually helps you improve as a person. Like here, from you simply wanting to do content, you're already learning things. You're already trying. You're already getting better at, like, let's say if you want to set up this podcast, right? You get better at things that could help you in your daily life, right? With me, content helped me improve my self-confidence, improve my ability to speak to people, improve my ability to get out of my comfort zone and actually want to get out of my comfort zone, to actually be curious about things and learn that, you know, it's not just about what I want, you know? An example of that is TikTok doesn't pay well, right? A lot of people ask me this question is, you know, does TikTok pay you well? TikTok does not pay at all. Right? So I don't get anything. I don't get paid for my videos, right? Which in the end, you know, when you take into perspective 100 million plus views in total, when you take into account that these are lots of hours of work, I am editing videos, I'm posting, like I'm doing jobs that other people would be doing for payment. Like if I was paying someone to edit the videos, it'd be $20 per video. If I, you know, take all the videos, 100, that's like, you know, $2,000, let's say. So taking that into account, right? TikTok doesn't pay well. And so
yeah, just not.
Yeah, you can tell it's been a long week, right?
Yeah, I can tell.
It's been a long
but it's all right. You got a soccer match coming up as well. So.
I got.
But TikTok doesn't pay well, and
So I get back where I'm at now. So I realized this other creator who has 3 million followers is like, I'm not going to post on TikTok anymore. You know, they're not taking me into account. They're not paying me, etc. But that's when I realized it's like, as much as you want to be the center of attention and realize, oh, I got these views, I got these likes, I got these people, I got every country in the world, right? The reality is there are lots of people on there who are creating just for fun without any incentive to make money, right? So thus, the creators who do want to be on there to make money are hurt, because if all the creators who want to make money leave, let's say 10 million people leave, well, there's 1 billion users on TikTok. So what's 10 million going to do to them? And in fact, they're making more money off it. So that's when to take into account that, you know, content needs to be more than just a money-making process. It needs to be something that helps you think on a bigger scale, think on a better scale. And I mean, let's say initially, you know, I believe Audacious activity can be much bigger than Australia. But right now we're starting, obviously, start with Melbourne, with Australia. Small. And I just really want to re-emphasize, because Australia is still one of the countries that hasn't caught up with that.
Yeah, with content creation, it's pretty poor. It's very poor.
In America, like I've applied to jobs in America, and I just want to tell you like how specific it is in America. I once was going on this website for sponsorships in America, and now when you hear sponsorships in Australia, you think beauty, fashion, food, beauty, fashion, food. You know, oh, this place is great. But I'm talking about these people. These people have like such niche things. Like you could be a pregnant mom who has 2 kids already, and they'll be like, yeah, we are targeting pregnant moms who have 2 kids already for a specific type of product. Oh, are you a 25-year-old male footballer living in Ohio? Like that is so specific. And then if you fit the thing, you can literally just go make it. You can have a job in America just being a content creator because there are so many content opportunities.
So many things to do.
Here, you have to go out and find, and then you have to convince. The amount of people I've spoke to, I've said, guys, you have 1 follower on your social media. You have 1 post and you have no profile picture. I'll do it for free. I will actually do it for free. And they still say no. Like, just to show you, because we all talk about sales. Sales is one of the most important skills.
And I reckon that's because the pride here is too high.
It's like, oh, I've done social media before. Australia is not the same. That's all I hear. Australia is not the same. People don't want to. Well, because there's not enough social media. But a lot of Australians are on social media, all the way from people who are 60 years old, all the way down to the youngins. So that's the thing. So who's not on social media in Australia? Because I see everyone's on social media.
Yeah, for sure.
But we're not using it. We're not
utilizing it to its full potential.
Yeah, exactly. We are not. And most of the Australian content creators who are doing well, they're not producing Australia-specific content. Right, or something
it's
that
worldwide.
Makes it, it's more worldwide, and that's why. But we need to have like, and if you see in Sydney is where content creators are doing something completely different. Yeah. So the Middle Eastern Lebanese content creators actually have May 25 today they actually have a comedy event. 3 creators came together and I know
there's a lot of gym content creators in Sydney as well.
Yeah, gym content creators. There's a lot of trading content creators, but we need that to kind of be more, all right? Yeah. And not just that, for me, a really important aspect of content creation, and I do this with my younger brothers, is I try to convince them, is because a lot of people will say, but what would I do? Content, you know what I mean? What would I do to get into it? But you could do anything that you love, anything that you want to solve. So let's say you're a gym content, I'll give you an example of a friend of mine who's a gym content creator who DJs. I told him, all right, why don't you, and you mix songs very well, right? Yeah. Why don't you create a DJ mix of your top 5 songs at the gym, leverage your DJ knowledge, and then let's say like, okay guys, I'm gonna make a DJ mix right now. He makes a DJ mix in 20 seconds, puts it on his headphones, and then the mix comes on and he's at the gym doing his bench press. Instead of just being, oh guys, I'm gonna hit my PB of 250 kgs, right? Or instead of just being, here's another mix. There's so many DJs doing mixes. There are so many guys doing their PBs. But there's no one doing, or not no one, but it's a very small niche of people who combine DJing and gymming. Yeah. So that's when you stand out.
And that's where you become different.
Yeah, that's when you because everyone's doing a podcast. Why is your podcast different? That's the question that I always ask myself when I'm doing content. And it's the reason that people have hired me for my expertise. I know this is the reason why. Is because before every video I ask, why would someone want to watch this? A lot of people will say, no, but this is a good design. I don't care if it's a good design. I don't care if it's a good video. Why would someone take out of their time that they're spending 3 hours a day on average on social media? There is... off the top of my head, there's like 1 million videos being posted per day or something. There's 95 million posts a day on Instagram, something like crazy numbers. How are you proving to be worth this person's attention? Yeah. Attention is a currency right now that you need, all right? How are you going to be worth it? You can't sit down and complain about the algorithm, complain about, oh, no, you know, it's because, people...
you just got to keep trying.
Or, oh, people like cheap stuff. People don't like... No, it doesn't matter what people like. You got to know that this is a currency and that people want to dedicate their time to things that they want to love watching. And that's their business. So you need to learn how to make their business be your thing, like how you can entertain them in that field. Yeah. So you got a podcast. How do I stand out? What makes my podcast different? I'll give you an example. Another example I have is like, I know a person who was just doing like a business podcast, like how he started from 0 to 500K, but he had no audience and he was doing 2-hour-long podcasts. So for me, it's like, but what's the difference? Are you interviewing a specific type of entrepreneur that's different? Like, for example, are you interviewing Middle Eastern entrepreneurs? Right? So then you have an audience, you know, you have a niche there. Or are you interviewing gym entrepreneurs? Yeah. Or are you doing a 5-minute podcast? Oh, wait, I'll take out of my time for a 5-minute podcast, right? You know, but a 2-hour podcast for another random guy who's pretty just long. Doing, you know what I mean? That's the reality of it is. But here, like, you know, we have this podcast. We try to the best of our abilities to make sure that content is good. Yeah. But it's like I mentioned, stuff like this, the reality is for you to get people in to watch your podcast, they need to see that the short clips, like they need to see the trailers essentially, so that they can go like, wow, this guy is interesting or this guy isn't interesting. You know what I mean? And I know this because I've been on podcasts before where I know what I talked about was really good, but the videos, the short videos that were made about me were bad, right? So I understand, like one person commented on something that I said, they're like, he just said a whole bunch of nothing in that minute. It was like something like me trying to be inspiring. It was like trying to be inspiring video. So the guy who edited, it was like, I told him like, man, you know, just make sure that when you're using my words, like that it makes sense because I agree with that guy. I said a whole bunch of nothing in the video, you know what I mean?
No, but thank you, bros. I appreciate it. I think, that's time.
Yeah, that's time, bro. And I know you have 58 minutes left, so the memory card might be closing on any moment. All right. But I mean, I'm keen to have this conversation again, man.
Bro, we'll get done, because what I'm trying to do is a panel where I have more than one person, one social media content creator at a time. Yeah. So we will get it done. Don't worry.
Well, bro, I know who to talk to if I want to bring people to do some social media content. I know some places, 100%, bro. And now I understand why podcasts are 4 hours long.
Yeah,
1 hour feels like nothing.
You sit there and you're like, oh, damn. I looked at it and it's just an hour.
I'm like Joe Rogan, man, who's gonna sit down for a 4.5 hour podcast? But like when you're the speaker,
then you're like, okay.
but like realistically, you know, when you're the producer, that's the final thing, right? So we're the producers of this thing. The reality is, it's so hard to be a producer and then consume all these podcasts and videos and then whatever.
Now I'm gonna be sitting there editing.
Yeah, so you're editing in the time that you could be listening to a podcast, you know. But it's always good. Open that space to consume. Like consume 20%, produce 80%. You learn more from producing, but it's always good to consume a little.
There you go. Thank you, Carlos. I appreciate it a lot.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you for having me on. I appreciate it, bro. I see big things coming for this guy. I've seen him doing his thing.
I'm trying. You know, I'm trying to get it out there.
But the fact that you're trying is actually enough, and the fact that you're learning through that trying is even more than enough. Like there's not a lot. Like you're already in the 1%. Trust me when I say that.
I appreciate it. But yeah, this has been Audacious, another episode with your boy
Karaliazus. Follow Audacious Activity.
Thank you. On Instagram, follow him as well. His TikTok is sitting right here, and his Instagram as well. But yeah, this has been your host, Kofi.
Yeah, and this has been Karaliazus, your favorite content creator, the multilingual man, and I like to call it the multicultural king.
Take it easy.